One single lap changed the life of an esports driver?
Leahy gets turned! Matheson finished him. Here comes Busa to the inside. He moves Matheson. Matt Busa to the lead in turn 4.
A sim racing giant will look to conquer another series?
A sigh of relief as Mitchell de Jong dominates for his first win at COTA.
Who are these people? And what do they have to do with one of esports racing's most important series? Let's find out. But before we take a look at that, let's set the stage. The playoffs of the eNASCAR Coca Cola iRacing series are in full force, after the first race at Darlington concluded on August 31st. But what are these playoffs? 4 races to find out who the undisputed champion of 2021 will be. The prize? $100,000 and $300,000 as a total prize pool. No small stack at all. Let's take a look at how Matt Busa made his way into the elite group of the playoffs. Everyone, raise their hand if they like an underdog story of sorts. Like a miracle run, especially if it is more than deserved. Matt Busa lives the true underdog story. Not just because he took fate into his own hands, but because he lived out what many of us dream of. Being in a do-or-die situation and getting it done when it matters most. So let's jump into the game and see how it was done. Matt managed to snatch 4 positions in the last corner of the last lap of the final race of the regular season at Michigan, securing a playoff spot with his last-ditch effort. If he didn't make that move, his season would have been dead as soon as the race ended.
I'm one that actually doesn't show much emotion, so my excitement was just a big smile. Coming at turn 4, I just kept telling my guys, like, there's no way, what? And yeah, I mean, going into the race, I didn't have any hope for it to even make the playoffs. I believe I was 16th in points, 15th, 16th around there. Top 20 is what you need to stay in the series for the following year. So that was all I was thinking about. Like, let's just get a good finish, stay in the top 20 in points, crossing the finish line. When it was all said and done, it was pretty surreal.
But of course, it isn't luck that brought Busa here. Grinding out a win at the last race requires some perseverance. Throughout the season, Matt fought an uphill battle after running in the midfield for most of the races. It required nerves of steel and a heart to match to push through that.
I used to think the momentum would just die down, but in this case, because I'm kind of going into it as the underdog, I feel like. At least that's how I'm looking at it. I just have nothing to lose at this point. I was, like I said, fighting for 15th, 16th in points, and now all of a sudden the worst I could finish this year is 10th. I mean, hey, we already won this season. We were gonna get 15th to 20th in points, and now we're guaranteed a top 10.
Especially after such a story, building on this momentum will be essential for Busa, and it will probably be extra sweet if he wins it all.
Yeah, it would mean a ton. Just being in this series for 9 years now in a row, it's always been my passion. My dream since a little kid was to be a real race car driver, and since I can't afford all the hundreds of thousands of dollars needed to do that, this is the next best thing.
This season, road racing champion Mitchell de Jong has written a new chapter in his already successful career. The Quanna Simsport alumnus has multiple wins in the virtual 24 Hours of Daytona and can call himself an iRacing Rallycross world champion. But he never thought about stopping there. We never think about stopping to entertain you either. That's why you should be hitting the bell and subscribing to stay filled in on the latest action. At the first playoff round, Mitchell was in prime position to take the win for most of the race, before getting topped by fellow competitor Bobby Zielinski. That is mighty impressive considering it is only the start of Mitchell's eNASCAR career.
Getting into the oval scene and eNASCAR scene, part of me was telling myself that I probably shouldn't be taking any more series on doing rallycross and multiple road series. It's a lot of work to prepare for those already, and adding one more thing probably isn't the easiest thing to do. When I tried it, just realized that it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the style of racing, the engineering behind the setups and stuff like that. I don't think I trade it for anything. I think when you enjoy something like this, you can always make the time.
De Jong is looking to complete no less a task than grabbing his first title in one of iRacing's most important series in his rookie year. Doing so would prove that he belongs on the Mount Rushmore of esports racing.
My initial journey into the oval scene, into the eNASCAR, was quite out there, I would say. Kind of getting the chance to spot for Keegan Leahy the last couple of years has kind of opened my mind. It's been such a cool journey, seeing if I could make it to the top and being able to qualify into the series, and also to now get a couple wins, be in the playoffs. It's incredible. I really didn't expect this.
Calling Mitchell a rookie seems almost absurd. After all, he has a lot of credentials to his name already. But that doesn't mean he's not looking forward to winning some more.
Championship in my rookie season, that would be unreal. Don't have it really in my mind, honestly, that's something that could happen. The races can be quite random at times. You know, a yellow comes out and you could find yourself in a really good position or a really bad one. You never know. Anything's possible. So that would be insane.
One guy who is used to the scenario of playoff racing is Canadian-born sim racer Keegan Leahy. Back in 2019, Keegan raced in the final round against fellow competitor Zach Novak with the championship on the line. After an action-packed race, Keegan ended up second just laps before everything was said and done. Instead of bumping his competitor out of the way, Keegan stayed clean, and that ultimately lost him the race. 2 years after that, Keegan is more focused and motivated than ever to change his future.
My biggest quality going into the playoffs is probably experience. This will be my 4th time in the playoffs, so been there, done that. I'm not going to get anxious. I'm not going to make stupid rookie mistakes. Not a rookie anymore. Hopefully that experience pays dividends, and I can use that to get some good results.
Consistency is critical for Leahy. He acquired the most top 10 finishes out of every driver in the regular season, thus was relatively safe in the playoffs. Yet he still went out to prove himself. Up until now, there was only ever a little bit of luck missing for Keegan.
I've gotten to the point where I don't get nervous, even in really tense situations. You know, I've been side by side on the last lap, going for $40,000. This is the 2019 championship finale. It didn't bother me. Maybe afterwards it did, but in the moment, I was just racing. Yeah, whenever I get in those tense situations, I think I can draw on that, and that gives me an edge over the competition who might not have been in these high-stress situations before.
When you fought your heart out for a couple of times, it is only natural for the championship to mean a lot. But for Keegan, it carries that extra weight and significance.
I've been going for this for a long time. I came this close in 2019. I made it to the playoffs in my other 2 seasons I've done so far, but I didn't make it to the finale race. I feel like I've had the performance every year so far, it just hasn't panned out. I feel like I'm owed one, and I think I have the performance to do it. It'll mean a huge deal to really get that vindication and finally come out of it with a title.
No matter who you are or what you dig, if you are a fan of excitement, the playoffs of the eNASCAR Coca Cola iRacing series will be nothing short of exactly that.
So be sure to follow the action around the playoffs when the field takes to the second round at Bristol on September 12, 2021. To potentially see either Keegan, Matt, or Mitchell secure a ticket to the final. Maybe a single lap did change the life of Matt Busa. Maybe after coming so close, it's finally the time of Keegan Leahy. Or maybe sim racing giant Mitchell de Jong will conquer another series. If you click to the right, you can find our epic factor with Mitchell de Jong. For more esports racing content in general, visit overtake.gg or our YouTube or other social channels. That's it from me, and until next time, cheerio.